Welcome to Friday Night Chat, episode 79, on the road to 88, only on the Irregulars Network. So tonight, I think we're going to talk about, hold on. I just got a text message from Dr. Ron Paul. This is pretty extraordinary. Let me open it here. Oh, shit, okay. Wants me to read it off. It's a message to the American people. Ha ha ha, XD, XD. You fags didn't listen. I tried to warn you. XD, I told you so. You made your bed, now lie in it. Winky face. Oh. Well, shit, that makes us feel a little bad. All right, time to go to the panel, I guess. Iron Man of Australia. Opening thoughts?
Hey, don't blame me. I told you guys to support Jeb, okay? You laughed.
We should have clapped. Jaffa.
Yeah, hey guys, hang tight, ride out the storm. Happy to be here. Let's go.
Happy to have you here. Rick Turpin.
Yeah, I intend tonight to sort of bring a bit of perspective to what's going on with international, right-wing politics, so to speak. So stay tuned, fellas. We'll have some bits and bats to talk about.
You always do, my friend.
Yep.
Zach. Okay. And so with that, we can open up with, of course, what everybody's thinking in their mind.
Hey, you fuck, you forgot me.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He didn't forget. There was actually a purposeful mission. He was trying to slight you.
All right. So what everybody is obviously thinking about right now, any size cup Slurpees are back at Charlottesville. So there was an alt-right protest, Unite the Right to be specific. Some of the most prominent speakers were Christopher Cantwell and Augustus Invictus. The point of it was, unite the right. Disparate right-wing people could come together and, get along, not punch, not attack each other, and, protest the tearing down of Confederate statues. Because this is something that the left has been trying to do, because damn evil statues stand for racism, even though they've been there 60 years. And even though new polls show that only 40% or that 44% of black people don't even want them tore down. And of course, violence ensues because Antifa comes. Well, when Antifa comes, the right-wingers start clashing with these Antifas. And of course, what seems to be a Jewish guy who was into, I guess, National Socialism, ran over a fat bitch, and then the fat bitch died, and so it became a big, giant media spectacle. And we can discuss, the civil rights violations that were happening to the speakers. These people, the Unite the Right people, were going out there to hold a rally, a political rally, and exercise their freedom of speech and their right to assemble. And they had to carry weapons to defend themselves. And when they do, they're derided. And it's okay that they're derided. I'm not. The state.
Hey, can we just start with we'll just start where no one else, fucking media or the right wing seems to have started, right? Except I think Tucker Carlson might have got this right. But even if they're hood-wearing fucking Klansmen or fucking Nazis or fucking Richard Spencer dressed up like Hitler, it doesn't fucking change the fact they got the right to fucking free speech, right? And so everyone's sort of like, oh yeah, but people saying they weren't Nazis, but they were Nazis, or fucking they were white supremacists, or they weren't, or some people there weren't. It doesn't matter. Let's assume for a fucking argument, hooded fucking Klansmen in robes carrying burning crosses, right? And fucking work from there, And then we'll circle back to what they actually were fucking advocating or whatever. But let's just start there, shall we?
Yeah. There's no doubt. Let me collect my thoughts here because it's a little bit. So
because you haven't had a week to think about all this.
Yeah, but when you're actually doing it, it's a little different. So these people are going to exercise their conscience, and every time anyone on the right goes to exercise their conscience, who shows up? It's some fucking skinny jean wearing, Molotov cocktail holding Antifa there to attack them, to shut them down. And so you see this escalation of political violence that occurred. And God damn it, they have the right to freedom of speech. And this is where everybody's getting it wrong. I don't care what, it doesn't matter if they're Nazis. It doesn't matter if they're fucking white supremacists. They have the freedom to express themselves, right? They have freedom of speech. And Antifa attacking them is a violation of that, right? It's a violation.
It's not necessarily that people getting
the right to defend themselves.
Getting it wrong. Like people on the right, eventually come back to this point, but it's just they start with all this apologetic, run a mile from these people fucking shit. They're like, I don't support this shit, and oh, dude, that's terrible. That fucking fat bitch got hit by the car, and fucking all this sort of shit, right? And like backpedal, and then fucking, oh yeah, but it's free speech, like it's an afterthought. Only just stuff in this fucking position. It's like, hey, fuck, like they had the fucking right to be there, and fucking yes, I disagree with the fucking bitch getting hit by the car, all this kind of stuff.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was just going to say I support the Nazis.
Yeah. Well, what kind of fucked up world do we live in? We live in a fucking world where people who are wearing, the literal Nazis are the ones that are out there advocating for freedom of speech, right? They're the only ones that'll stand up for their rights, it seems. And
they're the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
When it comes to free speech, right?
Yeah. And these, I think that the conservative movement was interesting to watch this week because you kind of saw the cucks like Mitt Romney, going out there and defending Antifa and whatnot. And you saw the actual conservatives going, hey, I disagree with them or whatever. I'm just a normal conservative, but they have right to freedom of speech and defending that. And you're a retard if you're just a conservative, if you're just a normally conservative, you don't think that then if they can shut us down, that they're going to come shut you down? Antifa didn't just attack this group of people. They started with Trump supporters. They started with normie conservatives. So the idea now that these are somehow heroes is absurd.
I think for me, I was very optimistic about the event, and I thought, what a great idea! Unite the right. Let's all come together. Let's say our piece. Let's stop this lunacy of tearing down our heritage, destroying our history. And in the past, every time Antifa and everyone have shut it down, it's ended up looking better for us. But this time, unfortunately, didn't work out that way. I think it's been very bad for the movement. And like you say, people are now touting Antifa as the heroes. But why is that? Is it just because the woman got run over? Or is it something to do with other parts of the behavior of the right during this event?
Well, what we've seen...
It's because the media latches onto it, right? Anything they can, right? And they're always going to fucking do that. So if someone fucking gets hurt on the left side, right, they'll fucking latch onto it like fucking... His name was Robert Paulson, right? Like it becomes this big fucking deal, bigger deal than it actually is. That kid getting hit over the head with a fucking bike lock at that other rally, he could have fucking got some sort of concussive injury and died in fucking hospital, right? He didn't, but it would have been tough for him to have happened. That's potentially lethal violence. And it just fucking happened that 15 people get hit by a fucking car or whatever and fucking one dies.
Well, we've seen the full brunt of this system coming down against us, right? We saw that day in Charlottesville, you turn on Fox, CNN, anything, it's just full bore propaganda. How can you disagree with all men are created equal, Goy? How can you disagree? It's how can you disagree with the right to freedom of speech and self-defense?
The left is always going to do this shit, and you got to count on it. And that shouldn't fucking cow you. That shouldn't fucking make you fucking back down. That they're going, this is bad optics. This is going to look bad for us. We shouldn't have fucking done that. It's well, you didn't fucking actually do anything, right? If you're against violence, you're against the guy in the fucking car.
The difference is with this one, though, remember what this whole thing were about, though? It was supposed to be about the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue. And the slight problem is the amount of people who've said, oh, well, I barely got a glance at the statue. So my argument is this. I know you Unite the Right rally. Well, if it was, wouldn't it be more prudent for certain groups to not show up for a start? Because it's going to... I mean, remember, the whole event's about keeping that statue preserved. And I beg to think that maybe that wasn't on everyone's minds at the protest. Because without sounding
well,
like...
you also have to, they never even let us have the fucking rally. They called up the National Guard before the event even started. Okay? We're dealing with a multi-front fight here. We've got corporations that have been denying people services, like Daily Stormer.
Which we'll get to,
Yeah, but... I know Zach's right in what he's saying, though. There's a certain implication about all this, but the whole point is this is about the horrible word optics. Here's a good one. Instead of everyone stood there with shields and bats ready for, a confrontation with the left, why didn't everyone think, right, let's keep that statue in focus and do literally a kumbaya? Everyone, imagine how inclusive that would have been.
No, but it doesn't matter what you do.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah, but it would have been a lot better, though, because this is the thing. Considering the fact that prior to the event, people have been told, look, this is going to be a fish in a barrel. The police are going to funnel you in and they're going to leave you where you are. And it's going to be a spectacle. And there were people there, they've even openly admitted, they said, we didn't really do much about the statue. They were all fired up for, obviously. And again, this is the thing, pride. And this always happens with people. Instead of think about it, everyone's pretty tough, supposedly. So why not just take one for the team? Why not just, all stand around the statue and say, right, we're going to peaceably stand here. The headlines would have been different. Rather than Trump clamps down on the alt-right, it would have been, the terrorist left is exposed for what they are. Instead,
that's
where I think you're wrong. What would have happened is it would have never been spoken of. You see, we're dealing with the media, and the media pro-Antifa. So if Antifa showed up and kicked the shit out of a bunch of people, we would have had a bunch of people hurt, and nothing would have come of it.
Like the last time.
The world's media were watching that day. There were no way of avoiding the event. And if there were women, kids, and obviously more of a diverse crowd there, rather than literal Nazis showing up and stuff. An example, there were legitimate movements there who were there at the shield wall, yet there were obviously like neo-Nazis and stuff showing up. So this is the thing, admittedly, it's like, let's unite the right. But the problem is it's probably best in instances like that other individuals stay at home. But no, everyone showed up. This is the thing, though, everyone had been forewarned, for instance, that regardless of what's going on, this will be...
Just don't show up and let them take down the statue, because, the neo-Nazis are the people who are fucking showing up.
But the thing...
fucking didn't get Mitt Romney fucking showing up, did you?
Yeah, but you get a lot of people showing up at that rally, and again, the media focused on, a small event that were going on. People giving speeches behind a shield wall. And again, I feel really sorry for the people who went there legitimately thinking that, this were going to be a good idea. The people who'd spent vast amounts of cash getting to the event, when it turns out, everyone had been forewarned beforehand, this is going to turn nasty. And knowing that...
but everyone gets that warning before every fucking thing. Every time you fucking... that last thing that Lawrence Southern went to, you're like, oh, no, they've got... you're saying... people are saying now, they had shields and they were expecting violence. So Lawrence Southern, when she went to her last thing, and the Battle of Berkeley, and they won... Right, she was wearing a helmet and all this shit. Was she expecting a fight, or was she and shit? So she should wear a helmet, right? Base Stickman, all these fucking guys are carrying weapons.
Yeah, but it's a different dynamic though, because the whole focus of the event was supposed to be preserving the statue and what's happened in exchange. It's like the statue were not even the focal point of the event, and now they're down more statues.
That's the nature of what we had. I mean,
this is a cockery I'm talking about. The fucking right wing, the non-extreme right wing, where the alternative is let them take down fucking statues, and we don't want to look bad, so let's not go to this one.
You can't show up completely.
You down, right?
You can't show up completely unarmed when you know Antifa is going to come and attack you.
But without sounding a complete and it's strength in numbers, though. If literally there's a massive crowd there and you're all doing a prayer vigil, think about, again, Robert E. Lee. You're a guy who glorified God. Every time there were a battle, the victory were attributed to God. Every time he wrote about something, he was trying to glorify God in some way. And again, it's like, right, well, let's turn to what that guy, the statue.
Well, we were outnumbered, Rick. The
again,
alt-right folks were vastly outnumbered by the Antifa that showed up at the end of it.
Yeah, because they made it about them. It was about uniting the right, not preserving a statue. And that should have been the focus. That's my whole point. And
Okay, I
instead of
understand
thinking,
that.
right, imagine how big that crowd would have been if that's what the focus would have been, which it should have been about.
But it always could be different, right? It always could have been better. We always could have done something better. And that's kind of...
I got some breaking news. You know how TRS was supposedly doxxed and all their paywall was doxxed?
Yeah.
That was an 8chan prank. They took something of Weaves and edited it and put it up. So it's not true. It's a fucking...
You heard it first here. Breaking news, nigga.
Breaking news. So TRS isn't compromised. Well, as far as that goes.
But all I was saying prior to this, though, is that despite everyone's warnings that this event's going to be a big shit show, so instead of making... I mean, think about it. Hard blokes are turning up. So just take it on the cheek like a man then, for the greater good. Because imagine how would the press be able to spin? People sat there all lit with candles going, I want to preserve this statue, and being like, in humble prayer.
Because evil
they were standing there with candles, and they took a photo of them and called them fucking Nazis. Ron Paul's a fucking Nazi. Don't you get it yet?
Yeah, but it'd have been more...
They already, people are running a mile from these people. Like, they're going, oh, shit, I don't want to be labeled a Nazi. I'm not with those people. But they already think you're a fucking Nazi. They've already labeled you a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things, other than the guy that got... or the cow that got hit by a car, what else was bad? What else did they do that was violent, implicitly violent?
Yeah, I mean, the Tiki Torch March, right, was, by all accounts, peaceful, except for self-defense, which you should do. When Antifa comes to attack you, you should defend yourself. If they come to try to shut down your freedom of speech, you have almost an obligation to defend yourself. It's almost your duty in a way, because these people are threatening your ability to peacefully assemble and protest. And that's freedom of speech.
The only people who can commit crimes are individuals against fucking other individuals, basically. Not group against group or any of this shit. You're buying into that fucking mentality, right? Like, fucking, I don't care whose side you're on, whoever fucking gets out of line and fucking, returns violence for speech, that's what that should happen, right? The cops don't. But in the, fucking grand scheme of things, in the fucking overall fucking post-mortem, I was being attacked, so therefore I used violence. You're in the right. It's good if you got video, too,
And the fact is that we're in the right.
Yeah.
We're in the right. When people go there to protest, they're in the right.
They had permits.
The alt-right.
Upheld. They were upheld by a federal judge. And the mayor of Charlottesville is a Berkeley alumni. So he's pro fucking Antifa. And if he couldn't pull our permit, he'd have the National Guard troops.
And if this guy didn't hit that woman with the car, and I mean, you were saying, fat bitch and all that, she was fat as far as I understand, but I fucking would defend what that guy did, assuming what I saw in the video is reality, right? But fucking, if that didn't happen, that would have been something else. They were already calling people Nazis as I was standing there with fucking tiki torches.
Yeah, but they couldn't call you Nazis if you're all sat there around a statue.
It's like 1930 fucking...
Get what I mean? I know, again, I hate using the word. I'm going to use the word PR. I don't like using the old word, optics, because it doesn't mean anything in a sense. It's the fact that they knew this were going to happen beforehand. We're all talking about it now because we knew this were going to happen. You were all saying, well, they're going to call you Nazis anyway. Plausible as possible while you're all sat there to preserve the statue. But instead, no, pride becomes before a fall. And people obviously...
No. Here's the thing. You don't control what other people can fucking do or how they can fucking protest, right? So this is the thing where you don't have to fucking go. You don't have to fucking agree with the optics or whatever. We had fucking debate in the fucking atheist movement fucking like 10 years ago, right? Oh, we don't want to look bad. We don't want to like seem like we don't want to offend people when we're telling them their religion is bullshit. Be nice when we tell them, like, explain to them that fucking their religion is not true, right? And there's no way to fucking tell someone their religion is a bunch of crap in a nice way. Like, and they'll fucking always perceive it as a bad thing, right? And there's more fucking extreme atheists who say, I don't believe this crap. It's a bunch of fucking horse shit, right? I can't go around telling them, no, tone it down, man. Tone it down, right? So I'm like, you can't tone down a bunch of fucking neo-Nazis or white supremacists or whatever fucking camp. Well, I mean, you know, like, that's a bit of a fucking, like, there's a lot of people in there just like, hang on, like, I don't want, like, there's people who are anti-white, and I've got a fucking problem with that, right? Like, so these people are fucking neos or whatever the fuck. There's a lot of people with different thoughts in there. Like,
so the idea is you don't do what Cantwell did. I completely agree about the freedom of speech thing. You should be allowed to say whatever you want to do. But storming round a monument that you're supposed to be preserving, saying Jews, if example they were going to knock that monument down and make a Holocaust memorial thing, I could understand Cantwell and he'd be in the right saying Jews will not replace us. The difference is it doesn't really have a bit on that. You know, for the public gaze, it has no bearing right then. But he had to say it, and likewise he wanted.
Okay, we shouldn't. So we've been saying nigger and Jew and fucking joking about the JQ. And we shouldn't do that because it makes us look bad. It makes the because I don't really fucking believe a lot of that shit, and you damn well fucking know it, right? So we shouldn't do that at all because it looks bad optics.
Yeah, but just
this has just got one.
Go on, carry on.
No, I mean, this has just got one step beyond that, right? Where, oh no, these people are just fucking taking it too far. And like I've always been, 1,000 flowers bloom. These people fucking got the right to be there, even if they're fucked at this point, right? They got the fucking right to be there. They just haven't got the right to fucking violently attack anyone, and vice versa from fucking Antifa. And like, Ben Shapiro is a fucking thing, right? Like he's saying, these guys, like Antifa shouldn't be violent. Like these guys shouldn't have centered their fucking neo-Confederate shit around a fucking Confederate statue, right? And it's kind of like, well, there was a reason they were at that fucking statue. They just decided, we're going to use Confederate symbols as our fucking logo, right? They fucking were there because fucking all these fucking leftist shitbags are trying to take down these fucking statues. And they're protesting.
But it became a Unite the Right rally. Get what I mean? Rather than it being about, let's preserve the statue, it became about them. And again, I understand. I can now again, people might think I'm cooking. I'm not cooking on holiday revisionism. I'm not cooking on the fact that we're being racially replaced. I'm just saying them views and opinions have a place, but at that time and place, that wasn't the place to go and be so spurgy about it. And again, people because that's my argument.
Well, yeah, I understand, but like I disagree, and like I've seen this argument fucking a million times, a million different ways. Like if shit, people would fucking tell you what you're doing on your fucking podcast at the moment is making us look bad, and you shouldn't fucking do it. And there's a time and place to fucking be offensive and all this kind of shit.
Yeah, and I mean Campbell's a jackass, but you can't really just. I mean, I agree. Like Campbell's a jackass, but I don't know what to do with it, right? Like I can't shut Campbell up. I think the Jews have done a pretty good job of that so far, but you know,
he's free, and then like he's free to speak his mind, and then everyone should defend his right to speak. And yeah, you can fucking disagree like with what he's actually saying. You disagree with fucking optics if you like. I'm just saying the optics argument is fucking.
No, but Matt, this is a good one to look at the situation. Obviously, people are saying, I feel like I need to carry a shield. Well, wouldn't your services be better served protecting a load of men, women and children just in humble prayer rather than penetrating a lefty line, doing some speeches and leaving the poor buggers there as, in the middle of a battle without any sort of backup plan? So, well, obviously, some groups who were there on the front line with them, which, again, I take my hat off to groups who were genuinely there for the purpose in hand. It just turns out, they knew the left was there in their little quadrant. Just stand near the statue and deal with it, is my argument.
You got any siblings that fucking, like, when you're a kid, they'd fucking hit you and then fucking go, Mom, fucking, Rick hit me, right? And lie about it and shit like that, right? And they'd come in and they wouldn't know who fucking did what. And they'd say, we'll just fucking go over there and fucking play. And you were fucking mind your own business, or you were doing something you had every fucking right to do. causing this fucking problem. And then the fucking authority figure comes in and, oh, well, fucking, you shouldn't be bothering your sister. You know, play by yourself, you know, that kind of thing. Fucking do anything. This is the kind of shit you're fucking doing. Stop hitting yourself. Stop, you know, this kind of crap.
Yeah, but the point is, like in your analogy, though, if everyone were just left to play with themselves, so in a sense, right, if everyone round the statue...
Doesn't solve anything. If they did that, it'd be the same problem. And
yeah, but it'd be a lot harder to paint the supposedly, like, again, and everyone's roped into it roundaboutly, that they're the bad guys. I'd have loved to have gone and spent the money going over there, but I'd have looked a bit of an arse, just stood there with a cross, just saying to people, let's all like old hands, you know. But again, played the lefty trick at them. Every time there's a big disaster, you just light a candle and stand there doing a kumbaya. So let's do it about.
So what if one guy still decided to drive a car over that bitch? What would they have said about you fucking standing there holding hands? Same fucking thing.
Well, I mean, Rick, if you would have shown up, right, and they said, "Hey, bud, here's a tiki torch. We're gonna go, you know, do a quiet march or whatever, right? We're gonna go, well, not quiet, but we're gonna go march, right?" You wouldn't have said, "Oh, well, that's kind of like, you know, lighting a torch and marching peacefully. We have the right to do that, right?" I don't think there's anything wrong with let's replace this. My main point, I don't know, maybe I'm somewhere in between you two. Like, I get what you're saying, right? But the problem with it is that it always could be better. We always could do a better PR thing, right? We always could like try to have some control over everything, but it doesn't work that way. So what we are left with whatever happens, we have the right to do it. And when people come and attack
in charge
us,
of PR, right?
It's our right.
Everyone wants to be in charge of PR, like fucking with this kind of shit. Like say, oh, we should have done this, right? But no one's actually in charge. Otherwise, you have to start ejecting people who show up. Oh, we don't want to, like, you and your fucking Nazi group or whatever. Fuck the hell off, right? We're going to have fucking protest against fucking removing the statue. How's that work? How's it going to work out for you? Is it you wanted to be doing that?
Or,
you know, we're all run through one particular individual who I know that people probably know his name, but I won't mention it here. Even though we're all run through one guy who turned out he was a communist in just before Trump were elected, but he's been given responsibility to run a Unite the Right rally. Get what I mean? It's just
that'd be bad. That'd be bad strategy, yeah, to follow someone like that.
Yeah,
agree.
Well, I mean, I think it was bad strategy to invite Cantwell,
you know, people make their own decisions.
But again, that's the sort of thing that we're going on. This is the thing, though. People were briefed beforehand, and we've all discussed this at length, saying, don't you think it's going to be a shit show? And instead of thinking, right, well, if it is, the people who are there, let's make this as best as possible for a bad situation. And instead, you know, people are all fired up, and that's just, again, it's just human nature. It's not individuals or groups, it's human nature afoot here. And instead of people just, again, pride before a fall. Instead of, you know, you're all big men out there, the listeners, who are probably listening right now. You probably took a punch and can deal one, but just take it like a man and just sit there or defend the crowd of people who are sitting there rather than looking for a
take that acid to the face like a man. Yeah.
No, but
we have
this thing. Bait Alaska lost his eyesight because of this.
I've been taking it.
Now, right, example, Bait Alaska's got like, what, 3% eyesight because of this complete failure.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't see that on CNN. I didn't see that on CNN. Do you reckon if that bitch never got hit by the car, CNN would have said, oh, the worst thing that happened was Antifa fucking blinded a guy, maimed a guy?
Yeah, but Bait Alaska's now lost his eyesight, and for what? So that we're all sort of like tarnished with a bigger brush that didn't necessarily have to be that way.
Well, that bitch that was standing in front of the car lost her life for what? You know, we'll see her walking out of the house, you know, fucking young idiot, fucking parents going, oh, you don't want you at the rally. Oh, don't worry, I can take care of myself. You know how fucking young girls are. I can take care of myself, you know. They couldn't fucking fight off a fucking wet paper bag, right?
Well, the best part is at the funeral, you should have heard the mother. She was making it all political and pretty much gleeful about it. Like, you know, it's like totally are selected. They're fucking rabbits.
So what was the point of her politicizing it? Was she trying to condemn the Nazis or condemn Antifa or condemn both?
Well, at the funeral, she says, my daughter was out there to speak against bigotry and racism and all this.
Yeah.
They tried to silence her, but instead they magnified her. Or, you know, or multiplied her or whatever the fuck.
Splattered her all over the fucking place.
Don't think they've made her into a martyr, though. Think about it. No, I'm not asking the audience.
She should be a Gold's Gym ad.
I'm not asking the audience or the people who attended to be martyrs, but wouldn't that have been better? You know, well, I want to do something for the greater good. Wouldn't it have been better, though, to look like, you know, because again, how can the media hide this? The world's cameras are there. If you guys are, you know,
they hid that Baked Alaska was blinded.
Rick, I don't think you understand how media works here in the United States. If it doesn't fit their narrative, they don't talk about it.
I've seen the same over here, though, with EDL protests and BNP and other protests. You'll have police. I mean, again, the difference is hardly any police presence at where Charlottesville were. Or if it were on the left side. But the British police stand there in a line. The Antifa hate them. The right wing supposedly are there protesting. And yet, you know, they even openly admit when I've been in crowds of them, like, you know, trolling the crowd. They'll turn around and say, like, well, yeah, the police have to be there, otherwise we'd rip them to pieces. And you're thinking, like, well, you know, over here it's insanity. Don't get me. This is what I'm saying. People turn around and say, like, who are you to say this? I've seen it. What it's like over here. It's insanity, Peppers. The Prime Minister's even openly said, like, you can't make it the same equivalent right wing. You know, like how Trump said the alt left and the alt right. Theresa May said it's okay to be alt left, but it's not okay to be alt right. So basically, now she's given carte blanche now for the left to crack down on us. And I'm not.
That's the second cuck position, is to say they're the same. They're not the fucking same.
Yeah. I mean, at least Trump's maybe drawing some form of moral equivalency. But over here, and again, this is the ripples on the pond effect that everyone seems to miss. The individuals who were there that day, even though they made up a small, supposedly group of the crowd, represented a whole more people than that. Again, I feel regretful now I didn't turn up. But they've all said, you're a cuck standing there trying to organise a fucking kumbaya. But that's reality for you. And again, look at the situation we're in now. Where this is now in mainstream British news cycles. This is in mainstream American news cycles. You said earlier on, someone mentioned it. I don't know who it was. Said it'd be better if they never mentioned it because, like I say, if nothing happened, even though like there might have been a scuffle, it wouldn't have been on the telly. But no,
well, I think it's better to fucking. There should be more of these fucking protests, like fucking when people try to take down statues and shit, right? If it's going to be on, let's fucking have it on. Let's not fucking. We left it so long. That's the fucking problem, right? That it's fucking a big deal now. Like if Antifa got the shit kicked out of them the first time they got violent, or whatever, they wouldn't fucking have this problem. That's what needs to happen. Is the cops need to fucking clamp down anyone fucking who's violent.
Well, every motherfucking time they come to a rally, they should get the shit kicked out of them to the point they just stop.
Well, we win if the police are actually enforcing the law, because we can hold a rally and spread our ideas. Antifa doesn't. They don't sit there and hold a big rally where they talk about.
Except the occasional car driving a car into a fucking fat bitch.
Yeah. You know,
occasionally.
They can't. You know, they can't espouse that kind of a thing, and we can, and that's the advantage, and that's why you see from. You know, these cities and local mayors and such cracking down on us, right? We're not allowed to go do that. Antifa's allowed to beat us up because they can't shut us down legally, right?
And the backing down and cancelling of events, right? So you're going to have another event, and it's going to be like one of your Kumbaya protests, Rick, right? Like, and you're going to hold that the next day. I don't give a fuck if some fucking bitch got run over in some fucking other place by some guy. That's got nothing to fucking do with me. I'm not going to fucking like, crawl under a rock. That's bullshit. And that's what people are fucking doing. They're really cucking out.
Yeah, but the whole point is though, why this has even become a news item? If what we said earlier on the panel, well, they would have ignored it, that would have been more preferable. The pace of knocking down the other statues. I mean, again, it's like over here. I imagine it's spreading all over.
It's not preferable.
Yeah, but this is the thing. People are thinking like the accelerationist point. Oh, isn't it great they're knocking statues down? Well, there might be an argument to that. But that never even needed to happen.
Would it have stopped the helicopter from falling? Because it would have blamed that on us.
That's not, again,
apparently... This is like appeasing Hitler. It just doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, but because, again, the difference is different strokes for different folks. At that particular time, that method don't work. My opinion. Considering as well, everyone was told beforehand, this is going to happen.
Well, see, and this is where, you know, it's fine, right? Like, if you want to go hold, like, if I hold a protest, I'm not going to go do the fucking unite the right thing. Obviously, right? I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to make it about the statue or whatever. However, I'm not in control of every protest you can do. And so I think the best course of action is, even though I agree with you, I agree Cantwell's a jackass, I agree that fucking, this went south, it always can go south. And Antifa's going to show up no matter what you do. They're going to do violence, and the media is going to try to lie about it, no matter what you do. You can do better sometimes, of course. But so the best thing, the best PR is to go, I believe in freedom of speech. We believe that we have the right to protest, and we'll use violence against people who attack us in self-defense. That's the fucking ticket.
Well, there's a bit more to it, but I mean, imagine that you had very clear fucking footage, like from multiple angles of Cantwell pepper spraying a guy who charged him, or fucking even someone being hit and dying, from lethal force, right? In a situation like that where you had the right of self-defense, right? What's going to happen then? This is going to be like the fucking Zimmerman case. The media is going to make a fucking big thing about it. Cantwell's a fucking murderer, and he's a fucking racist, and he fucking killed a black guy. Fucking going to happen. But was he still in the right? Yes, that's all fucking matters. Like, if he wasn't there that day, he wouldn't have to put up with the fucking shit or whatever, right? If Zimmerman didn't get out of the truck, that's basically what it boils down to, right? So just sit there and let your neighborhood get fucking robbed.
Well,
going on patrol.
I think part of the issue is, because from what I understand, Cantwell's being charged with using that mace.
Yeah, that's just an example. Like, fucking, he's lost his footage, and that's a whole fucking different thing we'll probably segue into. But like, just an example, if you had fucking used defensive force, fucking died, and you had footage of it proving it, which has fucking happened before, and the media still makes a fucking you out to be the bad guy. Well, doesn't mean you are the fucking bad guy.
When you're a semi-public figure, when people know who you are, you shouldn't be on the front lines engaging in things that can easily be identified, right?
But you have the right to be.
He has the right to be.
Well, he has the right to be. I'm just saying, strategically, if you're easily identifiable, you don't mix it up in the fucking front lines with cameras around.
Whoever's hosting the call, by the way, can they invite the infamous Max Sand to the call, if possible?
Okay.
Actually, I blame Max Sand for Charlottesville, so you better get him on.
Yeah, it's all his fault, all this shit.
Mm.
Yeah. But, again, it's all right. I know what you're all saying. It's okay saying what we said in hindsight, but this wasn't a case of hindsight. There's better minds than me in charge of this stuff. I'm sure there were better people than a person who just converted to the alt-right after a Trump election. I'm sure there were better people who could have thought of this beforehand. And all this had been warned to people. People have been told, do not do this. The feds already, I mean, I don't know whether the audience is aware, but like, there's that article circulating about, I know, for instance, one of the panelists has seen it and a few other ones, whereby it's saying there were federal informants there that day, and they've openly said, the FBI and friends, that they won't charge people who are informants or assets, meaning that, there would have been agitators. Now, I'm not saying they were in our crowd, but we know they would have been in the left's crowd.
Oh, they probably were. Like, I can fully believe that there was some leftists come up with the idea that, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to hand out tiki torches. We're going to fucking hold this rally. They could have been in charge of the whole fucking thing. We're going to hold this rally. We're going to hand out tiki torches. And then we're going to take this nice photo where they look like fucking Nazis fucking marching in the street with fucking torches. I mean, they could have been holding cigarette lighters and fucking they would have fucking said the same thing. But like, I can imagine that someone set them up like that. As usual, fucking, not thinking fucking long term or whatever. But I mean, just listen to what Zach just said. Do you agree with that? That like, oh well, public figures shouldn't be on the front line. Where the fuck did you get that? All these strategists coming out and fucking saying, oh, this is the way we should have fucking done it. And how are you going to have an FBI-less fucking protest? How are you going to do that? Just explain the strategy to me. Like it's fucking near impossible to fucking do that shit.
What I'm saying is, if you're somebody that's a public figure, you shouldn't be caught on camera doing shit because you're easily identifiable, right? If it was some Joe Schmo motherfucker that no one knew was out there and he made
then he'd be a public figure after that. True, William?
No one would have known.
Did you know who George Zimmerman was before he fucking shot a nigger? No.
And it's not about you have the right to fucking do it, right? It's
Mm.
and to say that.
Can I make a quick comment here? I just got a few things I'd
Well,
like
it's all
to
your
get
fault,
out.
Max.
Yeah, apparently.
Max,
I want to point out that D'Amigo and a couple of his compadres did the right thing when they were told that they weren't going to be allowed to speak or have the rally. They fucking sat down and said, "Then arrest me." And now they're suing, and that is exactly the strategy that Iron Man had been touting for fucking years. So I want to give them props for like doing the smart thing, and yeah, that's one thing I really wanted to get out.
yeah, that's great.
Because that's what they should do, because they got their fucking First Amendment rights completely trampled on, and they're going to walk away with a wad of cash, and whether they do it, just go retire to a beach house or fucking put it back into the movement, doesn't matter. They did the smart thing. And they didn't get led through the fucking hordes of Antifa either.
Yeah,
Well-
I mean, you should sue the city for everything it's worth. But to get back to just real quick to what Zach's saying, why can't a public figure go mix it up if he's in the right? Because if he's in the wrong, I get what you're saying, right? Like, oh, it's easier to catch him doing the wrong thing, but it's easier to catch him doing the right thing. And if he's defending himself, then he has the right to do that. So why shouldn't he do it just because he's more popular?
I don't know. You should ask him. He's in jail right now.
Well,
Cantwell's
was he
a
in the
glory
right?
hound and all that, but I mean, fucking like few people are willing to fucking do that. So if he wants to do it so he can be a martyr or fucking, get more clicks or whatever, I don't give a fuck what his motivation is. As long as he fucking does it the right way. And
you might
as I
go
pointed out, he has defended himself the right way. For all the shit we talk about Cantwell, and I got a lot of fucking shit I can talk about Cantwell. He fucking defended himself, used his weapon correctly in the fucking street, and you could say, well, fuck, he shouldn't even fucking went up to those people and fucking did everything right.
Is there a full video of that incident? Because I haven't seen any video that conclusively shows me one way or the other whether he acted aggressively or defensively. But if there is a video that exists, I'm not going to say that there
Which
isn't.
one?
Of
Two different
Cantwell.
That video where he's coming up to those people having the altercation in the street, that one in New Hampshire? Is that the one we're talking about? Or his altercation at Charlottesville?
I meant at Charlottesville, because I've seen a picture of him macing people, and I've seen far away pictures of videos of a crowd, but I haven't really seen any conclusive video that says that he was acting in defense. Although,
Charlottesville. I don't know. But if you can find his camera that he lost, that was just clipped onto his t-shirt, his body cam, please send it to Chris Cantwell, chair of Radical Agenda. He'd really love to have it back.
Well,
Well, you can't send anything to him because they're shutting everything fucking down. And this is the point where, god damn it, I have to defend Cantwell, for fuck's sake. Why do I have to defend fucking Cantwell of all fucking people? But this unpersoning shit is ridiculous. And if we don't stand against that, look, I should be celebrating the fall of Cantwell, but I can't. I can't, because it's a bad precedent, man. And it is exactly, we always talk about the free market, but this is an example of the free market going fucking apeshit. These are mega corporations that are shutting people's fucking speech down, and there's no alternatives. They're semi-monopoly.
You listen to all these fucking antitrust assholes on the left, and fucking they don't have an antitrust issue with a fucking company that can say, oh, we don't like your speech. That's hate speech, and fucking shut all your accounts down. They don't have a problem with that. That's on the antitrust issue. Gab just got fucking taken off Google Play.
All of a sudden, fucking the leftists all of a sudden are supporting big corporations shutting the little guy down, right? And they don't even see the irony in that.
What I find great about it is, like, you evil anti-Semite, you said that we have institutional control over major corporations, the media, and the state. I know what we'll do. We'll shut down every single account you have, freeze your bank accounts, go away. We're going to shut down your dating profile, kick you off Facebook, kick you off
profiles.
Yeah.
His dating profiles. You just, like, okay, I will take all this stuff down because I don't like hate speech, but, we don't want you to get laid either. I mean, fucking, what the fuck?
Yeah, and
Well, if you want to know how fucking controlled it is, the headline for Steve Bannon resigning today by the Huffington Post was by Goy, literally calling him a goyim. Like,
but I just this is important. It has turned.
We're getting a lot of crackling, dude.
Yeah, you're breaking up there, dude.
Maybe set your phone down and then talk to it or something. Yeah,
Stop doing
so
that 6 million.
this goes down into censorship and hacking and all sorts of bringing down the alt-right, banning applications. I mean, we're seeing Tor Network going, we never said anything about all the pedophiles, terrorists, drug dealers, human traffickers, and murderers on our that use our service. But we're really sad that, evil white supremacists might get involved here. We stand against hatred and bigotry.
Yeah, fuck this disavowing shit. I'm sick of it. Like, because a lot of these people, it's just like they look at that IQ thing and they fucking go, yeah, what about that? Why can't we talk about that? Same thing that got Cantwell banned off FTL, right? And he was talking about this in his interview, and he was getting interviewed by fucking Stormer and Daily Stormer and fucking Faith Goldie, who I don't know if you heard that fucking interview, but she's making a couple of Jew jokes about fucking Israel Levant, and fucking she gets fired, right? So like this shit. He said he didn't mind going to the rally, but fucking the Hebrew hammer comes down as soon as she makes fucking jokes about a Jew. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's actually really great. It's like, we'll teach you, we're going to ban you as soon as you criticize us. That'll show you evil bigots that we don't have institutional power over everything. Yeah, okay, there's not people noticing this. There's no one in the world going, wait a minute, how come if you criticize Jews, you get banned from every single fucking thing?
Because they run the fucking show.
And why is Ben Shapiro right pretty much all the fucking time, but he's just sort of getting it wrong a bit this time? Could it be something to do with it's his people?
Oy vey, the evil Nazis. Oy, Eichwald. Yeah, these evil white nationalists, right? That's Ben Shapiro's thing. He's a Zionist. But these evil white people, that believe in like a homeland for the race of people, like, we're how fucking evil. What fucking monsters.
And the Jews are like, do as I say, not as I do, with the fucking wall and fucking all this shit,
Yeah, but you're not allowed to criticize them, and that's kind of where all this like anti-racist shit I feel like comes from, because they just can't take criticism, because if they do, then all of a sudden white people might discover, white Zionism in a sense. Right? They're guilty of all the fucking shit that they.
It shows
most
you that,
of a good portion of them.
Shows you just how much we're winning to. Like, if it's like the only option they got left is to shut us down, do it fucking the most obvious fucking way. Mainstream media's obviously fucking lying. People really are sick of all this crap. And when the statues are getting pulled down, I mean, that's just fucking sickening. That's like something from some third world fucking shithole taking down their fucking dictator. Fuck that fucking... Like, you want to talk about bad fucking optics?
I can only speak here. I'm watching Facebook, right? And as an example, I'm watching the normies, and some of them, every once in a while, between like cat photos and baby pictures, I see something about Charlottesville and the evil Nazis, right? Evil Nazis. As soon as they started tearing down the Confederate statues and like retribution and digging people up, I didn't see anything about Charlottesville. I saw people angry that they're destroying these Confederate monuments. And for people that don't really, they might not understand where these people are coming from. You're just hearing, we're taught in America that we're like an open country for everyone, right? We're open and we're all Americans and we're all just as good as each other. And my trans Americans and gay Americans and black Americans and Asian Americans. But if you're a Southern American, yeah, you're going to have to get rid of your culture, your people, your fucking history, your statues, because they're all racist. Even though 44% of fucking black people in a survey taken after Charlottesville disagree with taking down the fucking statues. It's not even going to be a vote, right? They need to be done in the cover of darkness because you're a racist.
Yeah, well, see, it's the thing. Like I keep saying, to democracy, right? They don't even fucking get it, right? So, like, if you're going to take down statues, you would vote to do it, right? Like, if you we're going to actively do that. But they just want to fucking tear them down and not have any legal consequences and shit. What the fuck? So if we start tearing down fucking, instead of changing immigration policy, we're just going to go around and fucking kill immigrants or fucking like tear down mosques or fucking some shit like that.
Yeah, precisely. It just kind of goes to show. Right? It just...
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, better there, Max. What were you saying before? About how right I was? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, like it's a thing we've been saying for the longest time. Is like you use the court system to your advantage when you're in the right.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, I get it. It's the heat of the moment and everything, and they really didn't think that they were going to get turned away from the park. But once they did, that's when civil disobedience comes in. And had they all just sat down and said, "Arrest me," like think of the optics that would have. You know. I know.
Yeah, true. There's some legal strategies there. Yeah. Where you just get money instead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda thing. Still, I get that, but like, in future, that might be something people want to consider.
Well, it's kind of like Kaikesh with his fucking dancing in the memorial, right? It's be a similar thing there.
The racist memorial they should tear down.
The evil, he was ahead of the curve on the left. The leftists really should be cheering. Kokesh as the leader.
Disrespecting that racist monument by dancing.
Well, today he had a great input. He had a great input on Charlottesville, which was the state creates racists. You can't fight racism without abolishing the state completely. So
that's his solution to everything.
That was his. That was his good.
Sending donations is another solution.
Well, that's very creative and different of him. I've never heard anything like that out of his mouth before.
Yeah, man, dude, there'll be no racial tensions.
That's been working so well.
Abolish the state.
Yeah, let me know how that goes.
No, but I mean, on the statues, right? Like, if they had, it's just if the standard was we're not going to have any, federally funded or state funded statues anymore, right? We're going to have no more monuments, no more any of that. Then at least I can go, okay, I get that, right? All right, that's something you don't want, right? But no, we're just going to get rid of the Confederate statues. And you even have like guys like Steven Crowder, like, well, at first, I agree, we got to get rid of the Confederate statues, it's like, well, if you do that, right? If you just say, okay, we're going to get rid of just the Confederate statues, how are you going to defend when they want to tear down the statue of George Washington? How are you going to defend against that?
Well, ironically enough, even after Trump's little speech on this exact subject, Al Sharpton's calling for tearing down the Jefferson Memorial. So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, and the history...
Mark Dice uploaded one of his bullshit surveys he did 2 years ago where he's talking about this kind of shit and people are signing up. Oh, yeah, let's tear that. Let's change Washington to a non-racist name.
Well, and historically, right, like, we've honored both the names of Confederate generals. We've honored Indians, right? We've named our fucking military equipment and stuff and streets and everything off of engines that we fought. So, like,
Yeah, you got that Redskins fucking sport team?
Yeah.
What are they complaining about?
The idea that it's, inherently racist, and they don't... It's not that they want to put the Civil War and the past behind us, because they don't just tear down the statues or get rid of, Lee Lane or whatever. They need to change it to Emancipation Lane or fucking Martin Luther King Jr. Lane or fucking...
Could you get any gayer?
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that's what they have to do.
And how many white supremacists want their tax dollars to go to fucking statues of fucking M or fucking K or whatever, right? Like, that's another thing.
Well, it's kind of funny how 13% of this country now calls all the fucking shots, Like,
not even that. Because, like I said, I went and looked up a poll, after Charlottesville. I got one from what was it, American Conservative Daily. And according to their poll, 44% of black people they interviewed after Charlottesville don't want to remove Confederate statues.
Right.
So it's
the poll's probably slightly skewed just because of who's given it. But yeah, I guarantee you it's more than 0%.
Okay, then let's say 40%, right? All right, 40%. That's not a majority. You can't use that as a reason, right? Black people don't want to pay for it, if you're going to have statues, you're going to have federally funded. You're going to have people that disagree with those statues, and the solution can't be to placate to some of them and give the middle finger to the other, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, the whole thing's bullshit. Now in Boston, because of the rally that's going to be there, which, by the way, I don't think any white nationalists are going to show up, but it's going to be like all Kekistanis and alt-lighters and shit like that, Proud Boys. But that don't matter.
Good.
They think it's Nazis anyway. But yeah, they're all virtue signaling. I don't even know.
Okay.
But they're virtue signaling now in Boston. Change the name of Faneuil Hall and Yawkey Way. These are fucking 200-year-old fucking landmarks. And they're like, oh, well, Faneuil was a slave owner at one point. Yeah, but what they don't say is he was also instrumental in outlawing slavery in Massachusetts in the 1600s, almost 200 years before the Civil War.
Let's call it fucking nigger tranny hall. Yeah.
I mean, these are the same people that would try to tell, would go to fucking England and think that they would just assume England has a history of fucking racism and slavery, even though they ended ended it over a third of the world, or fucking it's like the Abos in Australia, like Iron Man talks about how they fucking try to, we was it's this fucking oppression thing, and that's. When you have this back and forth, it escalates on itself, right? When you say, oh, I'm oppressed, that gives you power to do things that you wouldn't otherwise do. And then when you start attacking white people get the power to do shit they wouldn't normally do. And the solution, right? The solution of how you should act in that situation, right? Short of complete fucking civil war and collapse of everything, is stand up for your rights, and you have a right to speak, and you fucking use the courts, and you use self-defense if they attack you, and you record it all so that it's easier to prove in court. That is the solution. That is how you should behave.
Right. I shouldn't have to ask if there's any video of Cantwell's altercation from last Friday night. I shouldn't have to ask, and he should know better. He should know. There should be 10 fucking angles of that altercation showing him. But I have not seen one yet. I've seen still pictures, and I've seen a crowd shot that you can't really see anything. And, I'm
totally with you there, Max.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna fucking fry his ass. Like, if no footage comes forward, he's going to fucking get convicted of something. I guarantee that, unless footage comes forward.
And I hate these she said stories. And these fuckers, they said, oh, the cops told us this, and the cops told us they would fucking defend us and all this shit, right? And no one's got a fucking recording of that. No one's got anything on paper. Wouldn't you want to fucking have that fucking recorded? Like the cops telling you that?
Yeah, and every single person there had a fucking cell phone. So many people I saw, live streaming in Periscope and fucking, live streaming here, there, and the other place. But it just so happens that a lot of the fucking contentious subjects didn't get recorded, and I'm like, well, take that as a lesson, learn from it, and don't let it happen again. If you do one of these fucking rallies, make sure there's 10 angles of everything, so there's no
and that's a Monday quarterbacking, because this shit's happened before.
Right, and even in Cantwell's case, right, like you mentioned the altercation he had in Keene with those people late at night, his camera is what saved his fucking ass then, because he had it all on film right up until the police came and he dropped the camera. So they knew exactly what was going on. All they had to do was watch his footage, and they said, well, you acted within the law, go about your fucking business. So he should know better. And he had people with him. Yep. I don't know who, his second penetrators or whatever the fuck they are. But I'm just bald. But
And some of these guys, Proud Boys, you know, like fucking Gavin McGinnis. Like, I think that guy's fucking not saying something. Fucking, you know, fucking Proud Boys. These fucking guys got a little fucking fruity to me.
Yeah, but Cantwell had an entourage of, from what I can tell from watching different videos and stuff, between 5 and 15 people that were with him. They were wearing his T-shirts, and they were fucking chanting "Hail Cantwell," which I think is hilarious. And none of them, and they were marching right with him, because if you watch the Vice video, when they cut to people saying "Jews will not replace us," it's his guys that are actually doing that chant. So they were right there with him on Friday night. Why did none of them have fucking cameras out too? Like, okay, he had a body cam, he says he lost it, whatever. Why did none of them, why weren't they on Periscope? Why weren't they live streaming to Facebook? Why, you know, and that's a serious mistake. And if you guys actually like Cantwell, see, I fucking hate Cantwell. I'm defending him to a degree, but I fucking hate his guts, and everybody knows it. But if you fucking like him, if you fucking care about him, your lack of preparation, your lack of fucking video footage might be the reason he goes to fucking prison.
Yeah.
So you should feel real fucking sorry for yourself if you like him and you think that that's a bad thing.
You're bad and you should feel bad. Like, fucking, I just realized just then, you know, like that chant they were doing, like, Jews will not replace us. It's he will not divide us, like, with different words, right? Like the fucking, the meter of the fucking, you know, he will not divide us.
Yeah.
Replace us. Like, I just got that. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, and like the "you will not replace us" chant, I think is pretty tame. But of course they cut to the Cantwell's little group saying "Jews will not replace us" because that's more fucking edgy and hardcore, and it makes him look worse. And granted, like, he did a great job of making himself look like a cartoon Nazi from fucking Central Casting. Don't get me wrong. Like, he didn't make it any better for himself.
It was kind of funny because he's, you know, because he's going fucking bald, and then he's fucking, like, we were fucking saying, you know, you should fucking shave the fucking head and just get about trying to do something with your hair, right? And he fucking actually kind of look better with a fucking shaved head. But then he goes to a fucking Nazi rally, then he gets fucking maced, and then he takes his shirt off, and he's got a couple of tats and shit from his fucking little, when he's younger, probably.
And then the video.
I'm surprised that the media hasn't went after him more, because I don't know, maybe they just don't know the things to go after, like the fact he's admitted to watching gay porn. Like, you know, there's all kinds of shit you know they could have went after Cantwell with.
Sometimes I want to just dole shit out. Like, something's down, then they'll go, "Oh, we found out this guy's this." They've always fucking known it, you know. And then, "Oh, we found out this." Hangs around with Max, fucking worst guy since fucking Sam Hyde.
Ha ha ha! He's fucking Puerto Rican aliens. I don't know. I like to think some of the goys at CNN probably are listening now because they were doing research on him and are like, ha ha ha, you know.
Oh no, they just want to help you and want the truth, Max. Trust us.
Yeah. Here's an example of the SPLC's, you know, fair journalism. So they sit down with Invictus, and he's recording the whole thing. And
sorry,
part of
I'm drinking when you're saying that.
Part of what she's, you know, part of what this bitch was asking him was, hey, Invictus, have you ever had sex with underage girls? So hey, have you ever beat your lover? You know, are you a domestic abuser?
Have you stopped beating your wife?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of shit. I mean, literally, that's the degree. So, like, yeah, if I was ever contacted by the media or you or whoever, I wouldn't sit down with them at all.
especially after he banned us. Yeah, it's kind of ironic that he's getting banned everywhere, and he tried to fucking shut us down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and
the good thing is we can do both, right? Like you can fucking see fucking banana peel, laugh your ass off, and then take him to the fucking hospital, right? Like, you know, it doesn't mean you support fucking leaving banana peels in the street, right? Like you can fucking laugh, and like you just got to point out the good things and the bad things. Like Max, did you hear the full 3 hour interview that Cantwell recorded? Right, that was fucking great. He was like telling this fucking. He recorded the whole thing, every interaction with her, and fucking told her that he's gonna fucking upload this shit if she fucking makes him look bad, right? That was perfect. He was doing great. That was great. That was a good thing, right? You know, he's still talking all his shit, and you can disagree with it or not, but fucking like, there's a lot to agree with. He's fucking on his game, like really was. Worth listening to anyway. It's on his site.
well, it's you know, it'd be the same exact way for me, right? Like on this show, I fucking make jokes that are, you know, over the top, right? But like at the end of the day, I just care about, like, you know, protecting our country from, like, you know, demographic replacement. I care about freedom of speech and, you know, Western values. I care about, you know, but yeah, of course, you know, gas the kikes, race war now, fucking lynch all the, you know, fuck, you know, it's mostly
You
because
can't
they
arrest
tell
a
us.
violent lunatic that everyone knows is a violent lunatic until they do something violent.
Yeah, I don't know whether he was in the right using his mace or whatever the fuck he used. It unlawful use of gas. Like, I don't know if he committed that.
Yeah, agree.
Is the stream? Is it still? Are we still streaming? Okay, my power just. Okay, never mind. We might have some technical problems.
Yeah, it says live here. The ultimate irony is that picture of him fucking beautiful. Awesome. Well, we having a technical glitch?
All right, is everyone still on?
My power went out, so my computer just went down, and
Still says on
so,
her. I think the audience can hear
okay,
us. Oh,
that's good.
last thing
I have
heard,
no control.
unlawful use of gas. That's what I heard. Yeah, Cantwell's been
Yes.
done for.
Yeah, what was the other one? What were the two charges, Max? Yeah.
Oh my god! Literal
Because when you press the
gases.
trigger on a pepper spray, it explodes out of the fucking something like that.
the 6 million victims of his CS gassing.
Oh, what about the 6 million victims of his blubbering on in that fucking video? We haven't talked about his crying video yet. So you hate Chris Cantwell personally, but you're still a neo-Nazi. Like you're just a different type of Nazi, and you hate other Nazis. Well, Ron Paul started it. He's a fucking Nazi patient zero. Yeah, they gave a lot of airplay in like fucking the left, and like I think it's like the same sort of thing. Like when they were chasing that dude around, fucking that was the same thing. Oh look, they're all really cowards, you know. Fucking they cut shit and everything, but at the end of the day, they're fucking cowards when they're confronted. You know, like the cowardly bully, the fucking little kid hits and fucking the bully. That fucking false belief.
One thing that I thought was really fucking stupid is Cantwell making a video where he's asking the cops to call him and giving out his phone number. It's like, Chris, you really think Charlottesville PD watches your fucking YouTube channel? You particular listeners? Really?
Well, I suppose I get around there, to be fair. But yeah, he's.
Who the fuck are you?
Iron Man, you have the ability to kick people. Iron Man
Oh, I just lost the room. I thought I got kiked. I thought the whole room got kiked.
No, who's this Israel Dreamer?
It's got a faggy fucking like anime thing. It's probably KK.